Now, these are 5 investments that you ought to be doing when you are at your 20s. Remember one thing, by the way, if there is something blessings that you can actually have in life is when you are at your 20s, all right? I'm going to share with you 5 things in terms of investments that you ought to be doing, and this can actually transform your life in a very big manner. All right, so by the way, all what you need to do, guess what, this video is for free. You just need to relax and watch it to the end. All right, and by the way, if you don't want to miss my good videos in future, just click that like button. Just like this video. That's the only thing that I'm asking you to do. Click that like button and also subscribe down below, and let's move to the next level. All right, now the very first thing that you're supposed to understand, that when you're at 20s, this is the prime time that you can actually make or break your life. All right, so what you're supposed to do, number one, I always tell people, one day you're gonna grow old. I remember back when I was at my 20s, I used to feel like everything is okay. I feel like I have less of responsibilities on top of my head, but as the time goes, you realize things becomes tight and tight. You have more bills to pay. By the way, have you noticed one thing? As you grow old, you tend to have more bills. It doesn't go like vice versa. All right, and people tend to say, hey, the scam that you usually have in life is when you grow up, because hey, all the bills, it's on top of you. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is this, that you're supposed to focus on the long-term goal. And what do I mean by the long-term goal? I believe by now you already understand exactly what I always talk about. I'm here to talk about investments, and when I tell you at your 20s you're supposed to focus on long-term goals, if I dare tell you how many people call me and tell me, Joseph, I love what you do. I love your videos, and you talk a lot of sense. I really wish I had somebody who can talk to me when I was an age of 20 years old, around that, let's say 20 to 29 years old. I can be able to do wonders. Right now, I'll be a millionaire. But anyway, point is, you're watching this video, kindly don't disregard this message. Factor on, consider the long-term investments. Even if you are in campus, buying stocks or getting yourself into shares, this one, you imagine even less than 1,000 bob, you can be able to buy shares of a given company. For example, if you want to buy shares of the KPLC, Kenya whatever, and lighting company, and what have you, Kenya Power and Lighting Company, you can be able to buy shares. Actually, you even need less than 300 to buy shares of KPLC. Some shares you even need less than 500. Others you need less than 1,000 bob. Others you need less than 3,000 Kenyan shillings. For example, Safaricom one, you can buy with less than 3,000 Kenyan shillings. You are in campus. You can be able to sacrifice that outing that you're going, that plan, that tour that you guys you have planned, that, that kind of money that you send to that girlfriend or viewers and what have you. How about you salvage for this month? You do that. How about if you get your what we call it? This thing to get help. Once you get that help thing, why don't you sacrifice a percentage of it and be able to channel towards investment? If you decide you'll be taking at least 30% of that money you get as your help and go invest in these areas called stocks, come on, by the time you're getting out of the campus, you've created yourself a very big portfolio whereby you'll be earning some interest out of it. So once you get out, you won't even be struggling and abusing the government and cursing where you're born from and saying you don't have money and all those. You're not struggling. Sometimes I usually focus and ask myself, if students can actually get this message when they're joining university, and you can be able to go out there, be able to be channeling, let's say, even 1,000 bob a month, buy shares cumulatively. By the time you clear off the university in the 4th year, I am telling you, you'll be in a situation whereby even if you don't get job like immediately, you can already pay your bills. That's the most important thing that you can ever do in life. Focus on stocks. Focus on rates. Rates is like buying shares of real estate. Let's say down below, down deep in your heart, you'll have real estate. But obviously, you don't have millions of money as of now, but you can be able to get started. You can buy shares. Again, this one you can start with as low as 3,000, 4, 5, 10, 20. Moving forward. So those are areas that you can be able to actually go ahead and channel your income. Others are index funds. An index fund in a simple term is like having a group of companies. Now you're not buying shares of one company. It's like you're buying shares of different companies that have been brought together. You can be able to do so. These index funds are actually available in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. You can be able to do exactly that. And I always give people a target. Take a period of 4 years from today. By the time these guys are coming back, who are these guys? These leaders of ours asking us to vote them again for the second term and what have you. If you can give yourself a challenge and say, by the time 4 years are over, I'm gonna do something about this thing, you're gonna get yourself an amazing thing in terms of portfolio of investment. That is what we do, and that's how we progress to the next level. That's how we grow, and that's how we create money. I've taken a little bit of time on that particular area because you need to think about the long-term investment. Number 2 or B, you need to do what we call the short term. And these are the things that actually caters for your day-to-day activities. Even if you're talking about stocks and shares, you need to eat today, you need to dress, you need to be good, you need to be presentable. Obviously, you need to do something. And when I say you need to do something, this can either be being employed. And by the way, there is nothing wrong with you being employed at that particular time. Because remember one thing, employment is usually the very first thing to over 90% of people. Is usually the very first thing that can actually give you an access to money. You have to work for somebody. In your life, there must come a time where you have to work for somebody. That one you can never evade. Unless maybe you're born wealthy and something. Again, after that, you have to work for your parents if your parents are rich or something of sort. So the fact remains, for you to lead, you must follow first. Therefore, it means you need to get something, even if you're getting paid. Even if you're doing the Mijengo thing, the whatever, you're paying 500 Kenyan shillings and what have you. Instead of working for that big Air Force Jordan and whatever, shoes and what have you, I know you love to look good. You have to have that smartphone and all those kind of things. How about you as well consider things to do with long-term investment? So at this particular point, I would say if you're at this particular age, work towards, be active, get engaged out there, make some cash so that at least you can learn how to relate or to actually be independent or live by yourself. Because if you cannot be able to work by yourself, this means by short term, you work either daily, you get paid, or maybe you're employed somewhere. Even if you're getting 10,000, 15,000. I remember my very first salary I got was 5,000 Kenyan shillings, and I was a teacher. Or should I say I was a tutor, right? I was employed in a certain school whereby I was being given 5,000. And at the end of the month, when I could see that 5,000, I was so much happy. And because obviously I had less of the responsibilities, but anyway, it is what it is. The fact remains, when you get started or when you're being employed, there's nothing wrong about that. Get the experience. You don't have to love the job. I know probably you hate that where you work. Probably you feel like you're getting less money. Yes, it's true. I can assure you it is less. No problem with that. But what you can be able to do, amass yourself the right experience and understand this. Nobody employs you for you to get wealthy. So if you can pick something that can actually be able to cater for your day-to-day activities and the bills, well and good. Even if it means you doing the things that you don't love to get the things that you want in future, so be it. I remember, if you can check my older videos, I used to paint. I was literally painting. Can you check those videos of mine with overall or apron, whatever you call it? And I was doing that job. Did I love the job? Heck no, I didn't love it. But I had no option at that particular point. That was the only thing that I had at my disposal. All right? So let's get to the next point. The next point is that personal growth and development, e.g., amass yourself skills. Guess what? At this age of yours right now at your 20s, you can actually go ahead and pick like 6 months. If you decide to pick a thing and learn about it for the next 6 months, it is possible for you. But now the problem is this. You usually feel like, hey, I don't have time. I think I'm old. I think 6 months is way too long. Even if you want to learn something like graphic design, web designing, coding, you want to learn something like, different skills that you can be able to do out there. You feel like, hey, guess what? I think 6 months is way long and all those kind of things. A time will come when you realize it wasn't long. It was actually very short period. Sometimes I usually get calls from guys who are over 50s are telling me, hey, is it possible, Joseph, to teach me about online writing? And I was like, you want to learn about online writing when you're at 50s and all those kind of things. And you're out there, all these jobs are actually available there. You can learn about virtual assistants, you can learn things about. But the problem with you is that you usually call me to ask me the online jobs where you can get paid. I ask you, what skills do you possess for you to be paid? You have no skills. First of all, whenever you're making inquiries to people, have the skills. Say, hey, I'm a graphic designer. Hey, I'm an interior designer. Hey, I can do interior decor. Hey, guess what? I'm a web designer. I can do this. I'm a video editor. I can do all these kind of things. And then you can check my older videos whereby I talk about the website where you can be able to go and be able to disseminate those services of yours and get paid. And that's why I always tell people, remember one thing: money is always a reward given after solving someone's problem. So what problems are you looking forward into solving? And then after that, you get that reward and you progress to the next level. That is simple how life functions. So if you go somewhere and feel entitled, you should be paid, you should be done, it doesn't work that way. All right, you got my point. That is exactly how we do the things. All right, so let's get. And by the way, there's some free website where you can be able to learn these skills. Some like the Skillshare, Udemy. We have others like check them. I have my older videos there. You can be able to go ahead and check. I talked about those websites whereby you can be able to go and learn about those skills. Okay. Now we go to the fourth one. The fourth one is about social and networking. Have you ever had somebody telling you or saying like your network is always your net worth? The problem is that you hang around with the people who tell you what you want to hear. You'll never get any difference. So what you're supposed to do is that hang around with people who are actually challenging you. Hang around with people who are telling you information that you probably don't want to hear. When I say you don't want to hear, I don't mean like bad things, okay? Let's say you don't take alcohol, they're telling you to take. I don't mean like that kind of an aspect. What I mean is that you hang around with people who are telling you, hey, I think you're misusing your money. I think we should be investing. I think we can be able to do this thing. I think it can be done. All those kind of things. Those are the people you should encircle yourself with. Sometimes it's good to look at those guys, even if you cannot be able to access them, even if it means following them online. Just follow their routine, what they do, their things, how they talk, how they communicate, how they do, up your game. And by the way, if there's something that you can actually work for yourself and can actually help you a lot, is your communication skills. Is a thing that I came to realize, no matter how much information that you have by yourself, if you cannot be able to express yourself, if you cannot be able to communicate, it doesn't matter how much you have in your head. If you cannot be able to do that, it is useless. It's good. It's good that when you learn about the communication skills, it's good to learn how you can be able to express yourself. Have the charisma. You can be able to convince somebody, because in this life that we live on, we live and survive by sales. And that's why I said, if you cannot be able to sell, you cannot be able to make money. And what are you selling? You can sell your services, you can sell products, you can sell anything that is out there and be able to make cash at the end of the day. So work on this personal development and all those kind of things. Okay. When I say like, hey, be able to, work on how you reason, work on how you relate to people, work on how you actually, engage people. Sometimes I get some DMs and you get annoyed by these young people. They tell you, hey boss, hey nyade. Sometimes they tell you, nipeleke na hizo rada zako. So you wonder like, why don't you approach me in an official way, and then I'll be able to open that door of Schengen, what have you. If you present yourself in that kind of a character, it really tells you, first of all, you are unserious. It tells you like, this person is like, you're young. And sometimes, can you imagine somebody inboxing you and telling you, nipeleke na hizo rada za shares? And then you even feel like I cannot even reply to that message, because if you tell them I charge for my services, this guy is not even ready to charge, because you tend to be judged wrongly. So it's good to work on how you relate to people. It's good to work on how you actually, present yourself out there. All right. So let's get into the next point. The final one is about financial literacy. That's what I usually talk about in this channel. I talk about how you can be able to manage your cash. Money is not a product to be used, but rather it's a tool to make more of it, and that's how you progress to the next level. Financial literacy, don't want to dwell much on that. By default of you watching all my videos, you'll be able to get the financial literacy. This is the only place that you need to be to understand the things to do with financial literacy. So if you can be able to incorporate those 5 things that I've actually given you, rest you not. One day, you're going to say, hey, guess what? I got this message from a guy called Good Joseph. And that's why I am where I am. And also God included. For now, it's a goodbye and see you to the next one. But don't forget, my number is always on the description of this specific video. You can be able to grab it, give me a call about investments. And also about booklets about investments. All right? Copy goes for $280. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one. See ya.